today we have a 1970 280SL and we are putting automatic retracting seat belts in the car. We are going to get rid of the Kangol style seat belts. These seat belts were good. They served a purpose. They were the first 3-point seat belt that Mercedes offered. They don't give you a lot of confidence when you drive the car. So you have to self-tension these when you get in the seat and you sit down. So what happens oftentimes, you start driving around and you start sliding the seat a little bit and you start your body starts loosening up the seat belt, and the seat belt does not automatically retension. By the time you get to where you're going, the seat belt's loose. And it's like, I wonder how this would be in an accident. I don't know. So those are going away. Mercedes recognized that those were a problem. They actually came out with a document how to install automatic retracting 3-point seat belts. Because there was too much legal problems, they said they don't recognize the document anymore. They've deleted it from their archives, but thank you very much to the internet. We can find the document on the 113 forums. It's out there. You can see it. We'll put a link to it. Getting right into it, this is the automatic retracting seat belt. It's the part number right from the document. It's for a 114 chassis car, which is the sedan. And so this is going to be mounted. There are 3 bolts that are going to mount this assembly to the car. And then there is 1 bolt that is going to mount the buckle to the car. So I'll show you how we did it. I'll try and show you how I think Mercedes thought that you should have also done it. There's a couple different ways to mount the belt. There's mounting the belt right here on this surface right here. There's also mounting the retractor. I'm talking about the retractor right now. There's also mounting the retractor right here. The problem is if you put the retractor right there, it will collide with the seat on some of these cars because the seat comes way back and it's tilted back, so then it collides. If the car was fitted with the original rear jump seat in the back, you have to put it up on the front edge. You can't put it over here because then it collides with the rear jump seat. So we made this 1/2-inch plate. We're going to recess some screws right into the top of the plate. This is our 11mm bolt that is going to mount this guy to right here, and then this is also the locating pin. So right there you can see that's going to mount perfectly right to there with that bolt. This is going to go right here where those 4 holes are, where the 4 Sharpie marks are set up right now. We thought about welding this plate to this piece of steel. If you heat the steel with weld, it's going to change the structure of the steel, so we decided not to do that. So what we're going to do is we are going to thread insert 4 8mm thread inserts into this section. The second point of attachment for the upper hinge is going to go right into here. The original one came in and it was right there. That's where the Kangol mounted. So now, because we've changed the hinge style, we have to mount it up at this angle. Mercedes said to cut the back open. We just decided to cut this upper section open right here. And this is what's called a threaded plate that we slipped into here, and it has the 11mm nut welded onto the back of that one already. We're going to weld this back together. We have to add heat somewhere, so we're going to add it right to here. It's going to be plenty strong. We've already kind of thought all this through right here, so we're welding that back up. The third point where this gets mounted is this bolt right down here in the stock position right there, so right immediately behind the seat. So so this belt has 3 mounting points, here, here, and then one is going to be right here. Then we have to mount this buckle. This buckle's super long. It's kind of hideous. I've seen some kits where the buckle, like some aftermarket kits, the buckle is half the length and they use the same bolt hole to where they put the Kangol belt. Up high on the tunnel, this is where the original Kangol belt mounted. What Mercedes did instruct to do, and they gave you a really long buckle, so they basically force you to do it. They want the buckle way behind you. So We took the same part number threaded plate. So the same part number threaded plate that went into here is going back in behind here. There's 2 screws holding it in with the one 11mm threaded nut inside there. And then that is just gonna mount just like that. It's gonna come right up here. It's gonna stay nice and low like that. And that's how this is gonna mount. So that's the 4th attachment point for the seat belt. To summarize what we did here, we made this 1/2-inch plate to mount the actual retractor. We installed this threaded plate. The trim panel that's made out of steel, that's backed that's backed with leather right here, is going to have to be cut out around the section where the retractor goes into, because it just gets in the way. Here's the steel plate, and it's just bound in leather. It's finished off real nice. This goes right here. I already started pulling the leather back. We're going to detach this, cut out the space for the retractor, and then attempt to just use the same leather and just rewrap it and make it look like it's all nice and finished on the back. We have now the seat belt is welded. So this upper B pillar is all nice and welded up. We painted it. You can see where the threaded plate is installed right back behind here. This is the threaded plate that you purchased from Mercedes. Then we have this threaded plate that we manufactured here with the nutserts installed in the lower section of the B pillar down here. This actually installs the tensioner. This is the little roller hinge, and then one more bolt for that seat, which is going to be the factory locator bolt right here. Of the 4 bolts, that's the only one that's left factory. Then the buckle, as you can see, it's right down here. It's all finished off, and the buckle has the threaded plate right behind the tunnel. So inside the tunnel, the threaded plate is mounted, and we put it as far back as we could possibly get it. It kind of gets in the way of where these 2 body seams come together. That's why we had to kind of cut these out to make them so they could fit, or else the flange of the bolt wouldn't be tightened down flat. It looks real nice and clean. The final product will basically be unnoticeable, so it'll be good. Our 280SL seatbelt project has come to an end. It looks pretty factory. I like how this came out, so I'm tipping the seat forward here. This little bracket is off of a 107 chassis. You can see the lower mount down here, and it's meant to twist like this. It's meant to pivot. That's the factory mount. Down here you have the retractor that's underneath the false floor right here. We had to cut out this piece of trim to allow the belt to fit right through, but it's real nice and snug. This is in a different location, so that's the metal plate that we made down there for it that you saw previously in the video. We had to change the location of this pivot point to accept the correct angle here. The buckle, it's a super long buckle. It's final fitment right there. That's where it ends. You can see where it's bolted down in that corner way down there. That is a different location than the stock buckle, where the stock buckle was bolted, because the stock buckle is bolted way up here. Actually, we plugged it off. You can see that plug right there where my finger is. That's where the stock buckle bolted. It's in, it fits nice. When you put the seatbelt on now, it stays nice and tight while you're driving. It gives you a little bit more confidence. If you have any questions or anything, you can call me. It was a pretty big project, much bigger than what I initially thought, but it's in, I like it, it's done.